Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, with this video I am introducing a new feature to the channel. It's called 5 picks of the week. So it's going to be 5 picks, 5 videos that you may have missed, especially going by the viewing figures. So videos that I find interesting on my channel but you may have missed. So I am going to pull them together into one long video that you can just listen to over a lazy Sunday. So this feature is going to be appearing on Sunday, so it's going to be at the end of the week. I am also going to be doing a second part to it, which is going to be 5 videos that you've enjoyed. That is also going to go by the viewing figures as well. So we kick off, and the first story, the first video that I am bringing you that you may have missed is about Buhari, the Buhari government signing documents, signing loan agreements in Chinese. So they are borrowing loans from China and the loan details are written in Chinese, but these people sign them anyway. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, there are no surprises here. It is what we have now come to expect. Guys, I bring you this. Nigerian officials are signing loans written in Chinese. Reps member raises alarm. So now guys, I mean, if this was happening in a movie, you will say it is too far-fetched, but then of course it is Nigeria and this is our reality. Again, the headline: Nigerian officials are signing loans written in Chinese. Reps member raises alarm. So now let's now see exactly what is going on here. Ben Abakpa, the lawmaker representing Ethiopia Federal Constituency, has alleged that Nigerian officials are signing loan documents from China written in the Chinese language. Also, records from Nigeria's Debt Management Office (DMO) revealed that the People's Republic of China emerged Nigeria's major creditor under the bilateral deals with $2.3 billion out of $3.3 billion. Recently, Mr. Abakpa asked the House of Representatives to investigate the loans received from China since 2002. However, the lawmaker reiterated this on Thursday when he appeared on Channels Television. Mr. Abakpa claimed that the National Assembly is not carried along when the country takes loans from China. Just told you that even the Bureau of Public Procurement is not aware of these loans. These loans are collected from the Chinese through the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, which is CCECC. According to him, they bring the bill through the executive order. Nobody looks into the bill. Nobody says if these projects are overpriced, but from what we have seen from other countries, the Chinese loans are overpriced. Some of these agreements are actually signed when they come in Chinese language. I am very sure that our people don't know this. We've taken 17 and then that's ... The National Assembly is kept in the dark. They don't know what is happening. He said the present administration, having campaigned with an anti-corruption mantra, should do better in checking these loans, as corruption is fueled by awarding of contracts. Whilst admitting that the National Assembly may not have done the right things over the years, he added that whatever has been done in the past that is not correct needs to be corrected. Speaking concerning the 2020 budget, Abakpa said little is known about how the money is being spent. We are taking about over 2 trillion appropriated from debt servicing. We appropriate and we don't know how this money is being spent. That means we have to look into what has been happening since 2002. So it is staggering but not surprising. So just imagine that they take this overpriced loans from China, which already is a concern. And when you're talking overpriced, we're not talking about the extra 2 kobo being added on top. We're talking about 100 times what the actual value of that loan should be, or that project that they are committing the loans to should cost. So that is the one concern. And then they are then signing these loans in a language that none of them understand. So, I mean, Malam Buhari will struggle to read through the English language, never mind having to sign a document written in Chinese. So they are signing now these loans that are taken out in a Chinese language, which they don't even understand the rudimentaries of it, never mind understanding the nuances of it. And a legal document, of course, is all about nuances. So that is the real concern. So effectively does mortgaging the whole country away. And then the added on extra that this guy has added is that there's no oversight even on this project. These things don't even go through the Senate to be discussed and debated before it is signed off. So an overpriced loan that is overpriced by at least 100%, I mean 100-fold, not 100%, that is overpriced by at least 100-fold for projects that has not been identified, signed in a language that nobody can read or understand. So this is now what is going on in Nigeria under this anti-corruption regime that we are now being blessed with within the Nigerian space. I mean, just imagine that. So where are these projects? Nobody knows. Where is the money? Nobody knows, because this guy is now saying the money is just appropriated and spent without any recourse to the Senate. So what exactly is the purpose of the Senate in Nigeria is really where the question is. I mean, that's not just where the question is, but it's really one of the questions that's now coming out, really, especially under this regime, when they just do everything by fiat and by executive order, and by the president say so, and by the president saying so, of course, that means Abakari said so. So imagine the volume of money that these people are now just gorging from China, signing it off in a language that they don't understand, and disappearing the money. So trillions and trillions of naira, of course, has gone, and there's no impact within the Nigerian space that can be identified as the spend of that money. This is really where this thing is. So I mean, it is surprising, but not it is alarming rather, but not surprising. It does alarm that somebody would sign a document in a language that they don't understand. It does alarm, but it doesn't surprise that that happens within the Nigerian space, because of course the Nigerian space is a special case. I mean, even a basket case, really, if we are being honest with ourselves. It's a basket case amongst the Committee of Nations, and people just take anyhow and do anyhow and act anyhow, and that anyhowness that is now the Nigerian template is now what is it befuddles the mind and scrambles the brain. But then of course it only befuddles you and scrambles your brain if you are allowing yourself to use your learned mind to apply some sort of like a due process understanding to how things function within the Nigerian space. Things don't function within the Nigerian space in accordance with any sort of sense of due process or any form of order or legality or legitimacy or anything. It's I mean, you hear that word bandied around a lot, but this is an example now that really captures the very essence of it. It's a Janjaweed mindset. This is really what is going on here. The Fulani elements that have seized control of that country, their own understanding is that they have gone to war, they have attained victory, and then all the spoils of war is theirs to gorge on. So effectively, the Nigerian economy is spoils of war to Malam Buhari and their acolytes, and they will mortgage the whole of the country, and once the country collapses, they'll just move to the Middle East or to their relatives in back to their homestead in Niger Republic and Chad, etc. Because these people, of course, they span the whole of the West African region, and a lot of them are not necessarily even domiciled within the Nigerian space historically. So they have no affinity, they have no sense of any this Nigerianness that you people seem to be obsessed with. Their own thing is that they have gone to war, they have won a victory, and everything that is there is to enslave, to gorge and to exploit to the fullest. Conversations in the comment section. The Nigerian government is signing documents in Chinese, but then of course it doesn't really matter which language the document is in. The same result is the same result. The looting continues. Come share thoughts, but before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you are making of now this new discovery of these loans being signed in Chinese in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.
Well, for one, the committee, the National Assembly is kept in the dark in all these loans. The National Assembly is not part of it. I just told you that even the Bureau for Public Procurement is not aware of this loan. These loans are collected. The Chinese, through the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, which is CCECC, they bring a bill. The executive, the federal executive, approved the bill. They don't even, nobody looks into the bill. Nobody says if these projects are overpriced. But from what we have seen from other countries, the Chinese loans are overpriced. And these people are very corrupt. This is an administration that came into office with one serious agenda about corruption, anti-corruption. And I believe that corruption is actually fueled by contracts. And if these people, Chinese, can just come to Nigeria, give us a bill, and we go, and some of these agreements are actually signed, they come in Chinese language. I am very sure that our people don't even know it. In railway alone, we've taken 17 billion in the course of this present administration. And like you said, what have the House committees been doing? That's the best time to start.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. The next video on this 5-video list is about Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan, of course, is the Barack Obama to the Buhari regime. So anytime they're in trouble, they reach for the name Goodluck Jonathan, and they just put it out in the public space and attach the word corruption to it, and they start to do drum beats about that. So that is what this video is about. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, this strikes me very much as a diversionary tactic, because the Madam Buhari regime, of course, have used this sort of a similar technique previously and copiously. Guys, I bring you this. Buhari government demands bank account statements of Goodluck Jonathan, Patient, and Deizani. So that's the headline now that we're contending with. So whenever this regime have any difficulty or they're in Yawa, they will go after the Goodluck Jonathan name and use that corruption coloration as a diversionary tactic to move the mind of the Nigerian nation away from their failings towards Goodluck Jonathan, and the corruption narrative is a bit similar to the way Donald Trump always uses the name Obama as a get out clause. Anytime that is in trouble, he will start to attack the Obama name because that is the only thing he knows. So again, the headline: Buhari government demands bank account statements of Goodluck Jonathan, Patience, and Deizani. So now let's now see what sort of Iberiberism is going on here this time around. The Nigerian government has requested for the account statements of former President Goodluck Jonathan, his wife, Patience, Deizani Alison Madueke, a former Minister of Petroleum Resources, and Rilwano Lukman, according to Bloomberg. Bloomberg reports that the banks told to provide bank details of Jonathan and others include Citibank, JP Morgan Chase, and New York branches of Deutsche Bank AG and United Bank for Africa PLC. Nigeria is requesting all documents concerning any transactions to, from, and for the benefit of Jonathan and his wife between 2009 and the present day. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami was quoted by court documents as saying that the information contained in the document will help an ongoing investigation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to know the individuals in the Process and Industrial Development Limited gas deal. Although Malami didn't mention Jonathan as a subject of the EFCC probe, the former head of state appears alongside the ex-ministers in Nigeria's proposed Sifonas. There is good reason to believe that ministers at the highest level were involved in a corrupt scheme to steal money from Nigeria, Attorney General Abubakar Malami said in court filings submitted on March the 24th. He said P&ID had no ability or intention of ever performing the contract which required the company to build a gas processing plant and the government to supply the gas. Lorna Schofield, a U.S. district judge, gave Nigeria permission to send copies of his application to the banks, 8 of which had been served by April 15. However, the court has not decided whether to give Nigeria access to the documents. In the court filings, Nigeria said the EFCC has not found direct evidence that the public officers received payment from P&ID or its affiliates. It said the 10 banks are likely to have processed US dollars transactions connected to P&ID's operations as either correspondent banks or the New York branches of foreign lenders. Nigeria hopes to overturn a $9.7 billion judgment awarded against it for a breach of agreement in a gas project. A spokesman for P&ID said Malami's application is nothing but an absurdly overboard fishing expedition, arguing that the AGF manufactured a claim of fraud and bribery to avoid paying the judgment debt that amounted to about 30% of the country's foreign reserves. So apparently, allegedly, this American firm is after 30% of the Nigerian foreign reserves. So I have to adjust my opening statement slightly and look at it really from the content of this information that we have now gleaned from this article that we have just read. So yes, first I am standing by my opening statement, my opening salvo. I am standing by that, but additionally you cannot fully fault these people for going after all these bank accounts, because of course there's a judgment in place against the Nigerian state by this company, this whatever P&ID, that for close to $10 billion. So of course the Nigerian state is obliged to fight that, and really this is just their knowing of how to fight it. But how the name of Goodluck Jonathan has now come into it is something that I don't understand, and it's something that Malami has to explain, because of course Goodluck Jonathan was not the Minister of Petroleum. He wasn't in charge of the petroleum industry like Malam Buhari is under this particular regime. Goodluck Jonathan's only job was to be the president, and he stuck to his lane, unlike Buhari, who doesn't stick to his lane. So I think they are adding Goodluck Jonathan's name to this just to color his name, and I don't think Goodluck Jonathan is dumb enough to be collecting bribe and putting it into his own account. I think it's a bit more sophisticated than that, and if it's not more sophisticated than that, he would have people sophisticated enough to guide him through the whole bribing and corruption scenario, to tell him how to take the money and how to funnel it and launder it. So that is another element. But really the thing now that has come out of this narrative now is really something that I wanted to speak on as well. So this company now that is suing Nigeria and has gotten a judgment in the United States for close to $10 billion was a company that was awarded a gas processing contract, which it has not delivered on, and I think that contract has subsequently now been cancelled by the Malam Buhari regime. So this company has now gone back to their country. It's an American company, apparently. So they've now gone back to their country to now get this judgment against the Nigerian state. So you cannot dismiss this judgment out of hand, especially under the Trump regime, because Trump is a smash and grab sort of a guy, and if he gets any wind of this, he will just back the American company and he will tell this attorney general to go and seize Nigerian assets to the tune of whatever that judgment is. So this particular regime that they have in America at the moment is as crude and as incompetent almost to Buhari's regime. Nobody is ever as clueless as Buhari, but Trump also is this is a guy that is asking people to go and drink Dettol to cleanse them of the C virus. So it's sort of like a Buhari sort of mindset there as well. So smash and grab sort of guy. So the Nigerian government is quite right to try and fight this, but trying to fight this, then of course they can't still help that need to play politics with it, and politics with it is what they are playing by attaching the Goodluck Jonathan's name to it. Conversations in the comment section, they're after Goodluck Jonathan again. This is a guy that they will chase until they get out of office in 2023. Come share thoughts, but before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns grey. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you're making of this oil deal gone wrong and the Nigerian government chasing bank accounts in America in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry on this conversation with you in the comment section, but here I say peace. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. So the next video is going to be on Lai Mohamed, or Lai Mohamed as some people would prefer to term him, especially the person in this video, a notable poet and Ewi exponent. So it's like a Yoruba-based poetry that this guy does, who had the effrontery to criticize Lai Mohamed. And what happens next? Well, it's all in this video, so enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, I am considering starting my videos with the phrase "only in Nigeria" from here on in, because "only in Nigeria" seems to be the most apt term to start off most of the videos that I do. Only in Nigeria, as guys I bring you this. After 17 days in custody, police charges journalist for annoyance and hatred against Lai on social media. So this is now Nigeria reinventing law as the world knows it. So this is now, they say Nigeria operates under some sort of like Janjaweed system and the rule of law has been suspended. And this is now yet another example that buttresses that point. Again, the headline: after 17 days in custody, police charges journalist for annoyance and hatred against Lai Mohamed on social media. So annoying the Minister of Information now is liable to land you in jail. So now let's now see how this is being justified. The Nigeria Police Force on Friday charged a journalist, Rotimi Jolayemi aka Oba Akewi, for allegedly causing annoyance and hatred for the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohamed, through the social media. The journalist has been in police custody since May the 5th. The development comes less than 5 days after the minister denied being behind the arrest of Jolayemi, who is the vice chairman, Freelance and Independent Broadcasters Association of Nigeria in Osun State. In the charge file at the Federal High Court Abuja, marked FHC/ABJ/CB/104/2020, the police alleged that the journalist had, on April the 14th, shared an audio file in a WhatsApp group which subsequently went viral on the platform. The act, according to the police, contravened Section 24(1)(b) of the Cyber Crimes Act 2015. Meanwhile, the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights had condemned the arrest and detention of the journalist by the police. In a statement issued during the week by its national president, Dr. Osage Obayuwana, the CDHR said Jolayemi was being illegally detained at the Federal Investigation Bureau (FIB) at the Force Headquarters Abuja for reading over the radio a poem considered to be critical of the minister. So let me just, I need to say that again, I am very sorry. So he's been held since May the 5th. I think May the 5th was the date they said. And what crime has he committed? For reading over the radio a poem considered critical of the minister. So only in Nigeria is how I said I'm going to be starting my videos, and that is only in Nigeria right there. The statement reads, Mr. Jolayemi is said to have been arrested by the police at the instance of the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohamed, on account of a poem read over the radio considered to be critical of the minister. It is worrisome that Alhaji Lai Mohamed would have a hand in the arrest of the wife of Mr. Jolayemi, Mrs. Dakos Jolayemi, and two of his brothers, who were kept in detention for 8 days, 9 days, and 2 days respectively as hostages, whilst the journalist Mr. Rotimi Jolayemi was being sought. Furthermore, that even since Mr. Jolayemi surrendered himself to the police headquarters at Ilorin, Kwara State on May the 6th, 2020, he is still being held till date, 12 days later, without being charged to court or granted bail. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Only in Nigeria. Only in Nigeria would reading a poem that mocks a public official slightly would land you in jail and then have you charged for the high crime of being annoying. For the high crime of being annoying. Now, being annoying now is something that would land you, because Nigeria continues to reinvent, of course, law and order every single minute of every single day. And law and order is effectively in Nigeria, shut your mouth and don't say anything, otherwise we'll weigh down on you. So they are running the country to the ground. The people are feeling the pain, the pinch of the system that Buhari and his band of merry men have brought in is being felt in every household in the country by the people who are looting the country. And now, for you then having an opinion on this pinch, you are now being weighed down upon for being annoying and being locked up for being annoying. Only in Nigeria. Conversations in the comment section, only in Nigeria. Come tell me your instances of only in Nigeria in the comment section. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. A bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then only in Nigeria, come tell tales. I'll leave you here, join you in the comment section. But here I say peace. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. So next up now is MC Oluomo, a name that I'm sure you are familiar with. Tinubu's thug is usually the person that Tinubu rolls out during elections to go and bully his opponent. So MC Oluomo now, so emboldened and so brazen is he now within the Lagos space, that he has now decided to take the lead on the C-19 pandemic within Lagos State. So this is how we present it. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, we're back with MC Oluomo again, the second video I am doing on this guy in succession. So now this video is not anything about any storyline. The pictures or the picture, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use just the one picture or use a slide for this video, but the picture or pictures that you are seeing on your screen is the whole narrative of this video. And the narrative that we're going to is this guy as he's presenting himself. As guys, I bring you this, the headline: MC Oluomo's face mask sets tongues wagging. So that's the headline. The headline and the picture are the only things that I am reading out and presenting. MC Oluomo's face mask sets tongues wagging. So now so now there's an idiom that goes, a saying that goes, is not a well-known idiom, but they say that no matter how often a fishmonger takes a bath, it still smells of fish. So no matter how often a fishmonger takes a bath, it still smells of fish. So now a fishmonger, of course, is somebody that trades within that oceanic economy, that fish, shrimps, etc., etc. So now the fishmonger then goes about his trading throughout the course of the day, and then of course after trading he then goes and has a bath. But then when he then has that bath and then he meets somebody subsequently, if that person takes a step back from him, either to observe the distance just so that there can be a civilized distance between them, or for whatever reason, that fishmonger would immediately be of the thought that he probably is still smelling of fish. So that is really the underpinning of that idiom. No matter how often a fishmonger takes a bath, he still smells of fish. So no matter how much you try to take a bus stop tout from out of the bus stop, he will still always present as an agbero. I mean, just look at this guy now. They are saying social distancing, they're saying wear a face mask to prevent the transmission of this now global pandemic that we're contending with. So now when they're asking you to wear a face mask, all you need to then do is just purchase a simple face mask, because all that is preventing is really for you not to breathe on somebody, one, but more importantly, not to spew saliva on somebody too, because that then can lead to transmission. So a simple, very cheap face mask would satisfy that. And if you're not able to purchase a face mask, either because it is out of circulation because a lot of people have bought it up, then what they've recommended is that you simply fold a handkerchief over and then tie strings to it and then just loop it around your ears, because that then will serve the same purpose. But no, not this guy. Look at the way he's now put on this shield, because this is a shield now, not a face mask that this character is wearing. It's only in Nigeria, really. So he wants to then say, oh, they are saying we should wear face mask, but I am +1. Look at that, our leader. You know, this ridiculous humdrum, Humpty Dumpty mindset. This is now +1. I better pass my name. He has now turned it into an Owambe thing, because he doesn't really understand at all what this whole global pandemic thing is all about. For him, it's all about still the Fuji reggae scene. I better pass my neighbor. I have more money than you. My money is in dollars. Look at me. I am the husband of Silifa with the big bottom. This is Fuji reggae now. This is the Fuji reggae, Fuji Kolintin version of the pandemic now, because in Lagos everything they always turn it into this sort of a Arambe sort of mindset, and this is an Arambe man. So as I said, no matter how much or how often a fishmonger takes a bath, he would always smell of fish. No matter how much money or how much opportunities an agbero is helped to evolve out of the motor park, it will always be of the motor park. So now this is now a motor park person now making truth of that comment now that I have just made. So now what says you? This is now an elevated now sort of understanding of what the WHO, the World Health Organization, has recommended. This is now a full-on face shield. This is not a face mask, but a face shield. So how is now his colleagues in the Owambe setting going to outdo him? So it's now a body mask now that will outdo this now. So they will now look like Robocop. Somebody now has to come out in an outfit, somebody out of the motor parks that is, now has to come out in a Robocop type outfit to now outdo this guy with his SWAT team type face shield. This is just the ridiculousness that is essentially and peculiarly Nigerian. Conversations in the comment section, come share thoughts. They have turned face mask and C19 into Owambe and Arambe. So now come, let me know what you are making of all this. It is all about the images or the image that you are seeing on your screen. As I said, come share thoughts. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then what says you? A fishmonger is what I said. What is your analogy to qualify this guy? I'll leave you here then. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace. Okay, so I hope you had a good laugh on that. And then the next one up now is a guy that I have not done that many videos on. I'm not sure why, because it's a name that continues to recall. Is this guy now, this Odumeje guy. He's a prophet or a pastor. I don't know which of the monikers he's tagging himself with, but for me, it's a comedian, and this is the reason why. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, we're back there again. The preacher man, chancer man, 419 guy, also known as the Nigerian pastor, another one of them. This one is debuting on this channel. Guys, I bring you this. Buhari's government told to immediately arrest and jail Anambra prophet Odumeje. So that's the headline that we're contending with now. I've seen this guy about before on social media, rollicking and frolicking like some nightclub baron, but allegedly, apparently, is a pastor. Again, the headline, Buhari's government told to immediately arrest and jail Anambra prophet Odumeje. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, they love their acronyms in Nigeria, has asked the Governor, Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to order the arrest of the controversial Onitsha-based Maverick Religious Center operator, the self-proclaimed Prophet Chukwuemeka Oniamere, also known as Odumeje. HURIWA accused the self-proclaimed prophet of serial abuse of the Nigerian Naira and other currencies during his public ceremonies in his location in Onitsha. HURIWA expressed consternation that despite the wanton and arbitrary disrespect and outright abuse of the Nigerian Naira and other currencies during the religious rituals, which are usually transmitted live globally and aired on all social media platforms and watched by millions of viewers, the Central Bank of Nigeria has failed to take concrete and verifiable steps to arrest and prosecute the prophet. The rights group said it has resolved to write officially to the Honorable Minister of Finance, the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and President Muhammadu Buhari to implore them to stand up and defend the Naira. HURIWA has asked the authorities to stop the global defacing of the Naira, which is often telecast globally, showing the acclaimed prophet throwing the Naira and other currencies on the floor of his worship center. The organization noted that Odumeje, who also calls himself many other different names such as the Liquid Metal and Indaboski, has contributed significantly to bringing global opprobrium to our national currency and has seriously indicted the federal government as unwilling to defend the Naira, even when the Constitution recognizes that the law is no respecter of persons or authority. The group, in a statement signed by its national coordinator, Emmanuel Onwobiki, said, "We have watched with disappointment as this self-professed Prophet Odumeje keeps abusing and defacing the national currency, and both the police and the Central Bank of Nigeria have failed for many months to stamp their authorities and prosecute these serial abusers of the national currency." We recall that in 2018, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) organized a CBN fair in Calabar, where it used the opportunity to create awareness and sensitize the public on the appropriate use of the Naira, Nigeria's legal tender. CBN also cautioned Nigerians against abusing the Naira note, warning that anyone caught would risk 6 months imprisonment or pay a fine of 50,000 Naira. HURIWA agrees with an observer who wrote that the unwholesome practice of hawking, spraying off, dancing, and marching on notes at social events significantly fuels the abuse and degradation of the notes. HURIWA similarly endorses the position that the effect of these is that within a short time of issuance of mint notes by the CBN, the notes become an eyesore, and if not quickly withdrawn and reprinted, a national disgrace and embarrassment ensues. HURIWA recalled that according to Section 21, Sub 3 of the CBN Act 2007, spraying off, dancing, or marching on the Naira or any note issued by the bank (CBN) during social occasions or otherwise howsoever shall constitute abuse and defacing of the Naira or such note, and shall be punishable under subsection 1 of this same section. The same body of law in section 5I went further to affirm as follows: marching, which is stepping on, to include spraying and scattering and littering of any surface with any Naira note or coin, and stepping thereon, regardless of the value, volume, occasion, or intent. Whilst in section 5.2, spraying, including adorning, decorating, or spraying anything or any person or any part of any person or the person of another with Naira note or coin, or sprinkling or sticking of Naira notes or coins in a similar manner, regardless of the amount, occasion, or intent. Specifically in sections 21.4, it is also a punishable offense for any person to hawk, sell, or otherwise trade in Naira note, coin, or any other note issued by the bank. The organization recalled that the stated offenses above are punishable under subsection 21.1, which provides, amongst other things, that a person shall on conviction be liable to imprisonment for a term of not less than 6 months, or to a fine not less than 50,000 Naira, or to both such fine and imprisonment. The organization added, "We ask the CBN to ensure that the legal provisions that should have protected the Naira notes from abuse, which are today being observed more in breach than in compliance, should be reversed. It is true, as observed recently by a patriotic citizen, that quite disappointingly, CBN and the security agencies have had their eyes glued close while the nation and its inhabitants suffer from preventable abuse of the national currency." Just as we reaffirm and re-echo the fact, as stated by an observer, that as it were, the law against abuse of the Naira has been in place for over a decade. Yet the CBN is still at the stage of awareness creation and sensitization of citizens, whereas religious houses are openly celebrating the abuse of the national currency, which is a legal tender that ought to be respected by the citizens and every Nigerian. This unfortunate trend of inertia and inaction by the CBN should be changed immediately. What other better way to do this than to use the Onitsha-based religious comedian and self-proclaimed prophet, Mr. Odumeje, as an example for others to stop abusing the Naira? The organization said it has decided to approach President Muhammadu Buhari to charge him to compel all relevant agencies of the government to begin the strict enforcement of the law. The organization recalls that the Central Bank of Nigeria had recently warned Nigerians against abusing the Naira note. The Apex Bank said that anyone caught abusing the Naira would be prosecuted, and if convicted, the person is in risk of 6 months in jail and a fine of 50,000 naira. An official of the Currency Operation Department of the CBN in Abuja, Mr. Samuel Shaubu, disclosed this in Calabar, Cross River State, during the commencement of a CBN fair to sensitize campaign for residents in the state on the appropriate use of the Naira. The organization has therefore asked the CBN to take action rather than continue in propaganda and the impression that the bank is working to protect the integrity of the national currency. So this is now a long-winded roundabout way of these people gunning for this guy. So now I have absolutely no sympathy for or with this guy. Of course, he irritates me no end. He's a clownish guy and a comedian, of course, but then of course is the poster boy, is the one really that makes true of the fallacy that is the Nigerian pastor, because this guy, it might as well be him as anyone else, as Oyedepo or Suleiman, because they are all same of same, just jumping jacks, bouncing up and down on some rostrum and asking people to line up in an orderly file and empty the contents of their wallets into a basket. It beggars belief. So it is quite frightening and alarming what goes on within the Nigerian space. But this is now the pathway now that these people are trying to use to give this guy a good flogging, a good koboko in. And if there's anybody on this planet that deserves 100 lashes of koboko, it is especially this guy. I mean, you can see his image on your screen anyway. I don't really need to describe this guy to you. You can see what it. Look at this. Is a man that purports to be a man of God. This guy looks like a nightclub promoter. It looks like some guy that you would see running like a strip club or something, like some gigolo, fine boy, hide your wife and your daughters away from him because his only job. It looks like one of those. Which part of the presentation of this guy suggests that is anything like a preacher man or a pastor or anybody that? Because there's no. The one thing you expect to see from a preacher man is piety. We're not saying that they should look impoverished, but they should look at least conservative and a little bit reserved, and there's some elements of piety to their personality. All these elements completely lacking, not just from this guy, but it's the very antithesis of all of that presentation. And this is a guy that presents himself to the gullible as a preacher man. Conversations in the comment section. Preacher man, chancer man, 419er. What is the difference really? I don't know it. Perhaps you do. If you do, then come tell me what you think the differences are in the comment section. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it's on screen. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you're making of this Connyman die, Connyman bury sort of preacher men that we have in Nigeria in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace. So I hope you enjoyed that. So now those are now the 5 videos that I've chosen that you may have missed, and I hope that you've enjoyed them. So now let me now know what you're making of this now new feature that I'm introducing. Let me know if it's something that you'd like to see repeat, and I wait to see your comments. Like and subscribe So I'll leave you here, join you in the comment section, but here I say peace.